Hello, this is John Livesey, Town Engineer, presenting on Article 12K, New Sidewalk Installation. The specific locations of the new sidewalks being proposed are Burlington Street from Grove Street to North Street for an approximate length of 4,000 feet, in North Street from Burlington Street to Adams Street, an approximate length of 3,860 feet. The driver for the sidewalk that is proposed was a petition that had been provided to the Transportation Safety Group, often referred to as TSG, requesting sidewalk installation along these roadway segments. This was the final petition request that's been received by TSG prior to the establishment of the townwide bicycle and pedestrian plan, which we anticipate in the future will be the guide for the prioritization of sidewalks. At the 2025 annual town meeting, funding was provided for the survey of these locations. We are now requesting to advance this project by moving it into a pre-design phase where we evaluate various alternatives which may reduce impacts and the overall cost of the project. The work that has been done to date includes members of the engineering division staff having walked the corridor multiple times, including taking measurements in various locations, helping us to identify likely impacts and to evaluate the feasibility of sidewalk on either side of the road. We also spoke with several abutters along the corridor, both those that approached us during our walk as well as those that reached out to us at a later time. For additional detail of the project, you can go to the Lex Media link that's shown here for the presentation that was given to the Select Board by the Engineering Division on September 23rd, 2024. Additionally, an abutter-focused public meeting was held on February 25th, 2025. Currently, survey of this corridor is in progress, and completion is expected soon. Numerous impacts were identified during the walk. These impacts are based on a traditional sidewalk installation along the entirety of the corridor. These include, but are not limited to, tree removal, which is estimated at approximately 100 trees. Some of those trees are town shade trees, and others are on private property. We also identified right-of-way limitations that will be requiring easements or land acquisitions, although we won't have the specifics of the size and magnitude of those until we have survey at a minimum and get into the design. There will be need for retaining wall relocations as well as retaining wall installations, and drainage installation will likely be necessary as well. Site distance impacts need to be addressed, particularly at areas where we may be proposing crossings. Landscaping and screening will be impacted for existing homes along the corridor, and we expect that we'll need to make some improvements upon the completion of the work to enhance and replace screening that was removed due to sidewalk installation. There were also some environmental impacts. There were areas along the corridor where there are wetlands and floodplain, and we will do our best to minimize those impacts. We do anticipate impacts to the Willards Woods frontage. There is currently a large landscape wall that runs along Willards Woods property just off the roadway edge. Does not currently leave enough space for a sidewalk, so we will likely need to relocate that wall further back into the Willards Woods parcel to provide space for that sidewalk. The timeline and next steps are as follows. If funding is received at this town meeting, pre-design will begin in the summer of 2026. This will focus on an alternatives analysis to look at potential for limiting impacts. We anticipate numerous meetings with the abutters, the public, and select board as we navigate the options to determine the preferred fit for the community. Through this process, we will discuss property impacts and easement and land acquisition requirements with the select board and property owners. We anticipate that we will be coming to a subsequent town meeting asking for funding for design of the preferred concept and for easements or land acquisitions if there is in fact a need for easements or land to be purchased, and an additional request for construction funding. That will be followed by construction, and those dates are yet to be determined. It depends on how the process moves forward. The alternatives that are evaluated will include, at a minimum, options such as partial sidewalk at strategic locations, one-way road minimizing sidewalk installation impacts due to road narrowing, and or enhanced striping. Additionally, we will be evaluating the safety and accessibility of the alternatives, ensuring all codes and regulations are complied with. We will also evaluate the benefits and develop an order of magnitude of the cost of each alternative. The request for town meeting under Article 12K is for $60,000 to be used to evaluate the full sidewalk and alternatives along Burlington Street and North Street for the purposes of a future sidewalk design and construction. Thank you.